managerial structure we identified already: operational managers, middle level management, and top level management. Information system that available for operational management called as operational support information system. Operational support information system. Some examples also here given: transaction processing system, office automation. These are the two major information system that available under operational support information system. These type of information system always produce information that required to operational managers. Remember that point. Right. Then the second type of information system is management support information system. One good example is management information system, MIS. This type of information system always produce information that required to middle management. Middle management, they are doing various types of functions, especially they are taking short-term decisions. Their major function is implementing the top level decision into actual. To support for these functions, these requirements, management information system provide information to middle level managers. Then third type is decision support information system. Decision support information system. Decision support information system provide information for top level managers to get to do their functions, top level functions. Top level managers are mostly involved with taking long term or major decision regarding their business. Therefore, they need a specific type of information that support for taking decisions. These are some examples. This information system support top level managers to take decisions. Executive information system, decision support system, knowledge system, like that. Some common information systems available for top level managers. Right. Draw this diagram on your books. Then we'll want to identify features of these information systems separately. Until that, first thing, you want to draw this diagram on your books. Right. Draw it. Right, I think you finished drawing the diagram here. Therefore, I am moving to the next slide. Here, explaining each type of information system, features of this information system. That first consider on the operational support information system. Operational support information system. Under that, in the earlier diagram, we identified two examples. Operational support information system. Under that, we identified two examples: transactional processing system and office automation. Here we are going to identify some features regarding this system. Right. First one is transaction processing system. Under operational support information system, the first one is TPS in short. TPS stand for transactional processing system. Description here explaining what is transactional processing system. Transactional processing system is a system that process the data generated due to daily transaction. You know, in a business organization, there are various types of transaction happening daily. Because of this transaction, it produces various types of data. The task of the transactional processing system is process these various type of data that generate daily. That, for example, sales transaction. Once you made the sales, then it will generate the amount of data, the date, quantity. In that way, various types of data generate due to sales. This generated data processed through the transaction processing system. Some examples also you can identify within bracket under TPS. They are giving stock control system. Normally, each and every day in an organization happen sales, purchasing like that. That means stock level is changing. Once you made the sales or made a purchase, the stock level is changing. Therefore, there should be a way to control the stock level. That system is called stock control system. The functions of the stock control system changing because of this daily transaction. Therefore, it is under transactional processing system. Billing system, payroll system. These are some other examples that you can find under transactional processing system. Right, then functions. Here specify some functions also available under transactional processing system. Counting stock level. This function is regarding the stock control system. Identify daily credit transaction. That is actually regarding the billing systems. Counting daily purchasing and sales. That function regarding the stock control. Counting daily wages and salaries. That is regarding the payroll system. Right? In that way, here under function column, giving some function for each systems examples. Right? In that way, you can identify the features of transactional processing system. Right? Then under operational support information system, the second example is office automation. Office automation. Office automation system available to perform all documentation work, communication work of an organization. Some examples also you can find under OAS, word processing system. Through the word processing system, you can do all the document work that regarding the business. Printing documents, then producing report, like that. Word processing requirements. The DBMS, database requirements done through the DBMS system. Then communication system. Right? Here under functions, they are giving some functions here also. Preparing letters, notice, announcement. These are some functions under word processing system. Then transmit messages. That is under communication system. Right. Here explaining some features of operational support information system. Now you can note down that one also, operational support information system. Right. Note down හරි අපි එතකොට මේකෙන් පැහැදිලි කරේ දැන් අපි සාකච්ඡා කරමින් ඉන්නේ මේ මැනේජ්මන්ට් ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එකේ ලේයර්ස් තුනක් තියෙනවා කියලා අපි හඳුනාගත්තා. ඔපරේෂනල් ලෙවල්, මිඩල් ලෙවල්, টপ ලෙවල් කියලා. එතකොට මේ එක එක ලෙවල්ස් වලට අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු සපයන තොරතුරු පද්ධති ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් සිස්ටම්ස් වර්ග තියෙනවා. අන්න ඒවා තමයි අපි හඳුනාගෙන යන්නේ. එතකොට මේ ඔපරේෂනල් ලෙවල් එකේ අයට අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු සපයන තොරතුරු පද්ධති වලට අපි කියනවා ඔපරේෂනල් සපෝට් ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් සිස්ටම් කියලා. ඒකේට උදාහරණ කීපයක් තමයි දක්වලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔපරේෂනල් සපෝට් ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් සිස්ටම් තියෙනවා ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් දෙකක් තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි එක තමයි transactional processing system කියලා කියන්නේ. දෙවෙනි එක තමයි office automation system කියලා කියන්නේ. මේ දෙකම operational support information system වලට උදාහරණ. ඒ කියන්නේ අර managerial structure එකේ යටම ඉන්න අය manage operational level එකේ ඉන්න අයට උදව් වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ system. එතකොට ඒකේ පළවෙනි එක තමයි transaction processing system කියලා කිව්වේ. transaction processing system එකෙන් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ එදිනෙදා සිද්ධ වෙන ගනුදෙනු නිසා නිපද වෙන දත්ත process කරන එක. එදිනෙදා සිද්ධ වෙන ගනුදෙනු නිසා නිපද වෙන දත්ත සකසන එක process කරන එක තමයි TPS එකෙන් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට එදිනෙදා සිද්ධ වෙන ගනුදෙනුවක් තමයි sales කියන්නේ. ඒතර sales කියන එක නිසා නිපද වෙන දත්ත තියෙනවා. sales කරපු දවස, sale amount එක, ඒ වගේ stocks වලින් අයින් වෙනවා, බාණ්ඩ stocks අඩු වෙනවා, ඒ වගේ දත්ත නිපද වෙනවා. අන්න ඒ දත්ත process කරන්නේ stock control transaction processing system සරහා. transaction processing system වලට උදාහරණ තමයි දක්වලා තියෙන්නේ වරහන තුල stock control, billing system, payroll ඒ වගේ දේවල්. office automation system තියෙන්නේ ඒ සාමාන්‍ය වැඩ කටයුතු සඳහා උදාහරණ තමයි ලියුමක් type කරන්න, message එකක් යවන්න, ඒ වගේ දේවල් සිද්ධ වෙනවා මේ operational support operational managers ලාතින්. ඒතර ඒවට support කරන්න තමයි office automation system එක තියෙන්නේ. ඒ විදිහට හඳුනා ගන්න operational support information system කියන්නේ මොනවද? ඒවා සඳහා තිබෙන උදාහරණ මොනවද? ඒවා මගින් කෙරෙන්නේ මොනවද? functions. right, describe කරන්නත් පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. සමහර වෙලාවට අහනවා what is transaction processing system කියලා. එහෙම ආපුවම අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙන්න ඕනේ transaction processing system is a system that used to process data generated due to daily transaction. hello මිලින්ද පන්ති නැන්ද හිටියේ නැන්ද? right නෑ අර host මාරු වෙලා තිබ්බ ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් මාරු කරගන්න. මේ කතා කරේ දැන් හරිය හරියට. right that's about operational information system. අපි මේක note කරගන්න ඕනේ. මේක note එකට යන්න ඕන එකක්. complete කරගන්න බැරි වුණා නම් පස්සේ complete කරගන්න මම presentation එක ඔයගොල්ලන් group එකට දාපුවම. right ඊට පස්සේ අපි යමු the second type of information system that is called management support information system. Management support information system. This type of information system produce information required to middle level managers. Middle level managers. One example is MIS, Management Information System. Right? Under information system in this table, they are giving some example for MIS, Database Management System, Marketing System, human resource management system, accounting system. All of these type of systems available under middle level managers. They are doing different types of jobs based on according to their job. They need various types of information. These informations are given through these types of system. Right? That accounting information also available under MIS, Management Information System. Right? Through the accounting information system, they will be able to do accounting function of an organization. Right? Then marketing function. Through the marketing system, marketing managers will be able to do handling the functions regarding marketing. Right. In that way, you want to identify the MIS system. Under description, they are described what is management support system. The system which used to produce report that required to middle level managers, especially specific function of the management information system is producing report. To produce the report, they need various types of data. Right? Then these data handled by the system that you can see under MIS. Function, then look at the major functions you can do through the management information system. Preparing daily attendance. Right? It is very important if you want to prepare attendance sheets, attendance reports of your employee, then you can use one of the MIS system. Preparing daily or monthly sales report. Right? That's another important functions. If you want to get what's the highest sale, what's the lowest sales area, right? These types of information, then you are giving the responsibility to middle level managers to prepare such a report. Then sales manager preparing daily sales report or monthly sales report. Then preparing product delivery reports or highest and lowest sales report based on geographical area or brand. These are the some of the functions that perform through the management information system. Right. Then you want to note down this one also. Write down this one on your books. Right here, I think you finish writing the drawing the table here. This explaining management support information system. So the management support information systems තියෙන්නේ ආයතනයේ ඉන්න මැද මට්ටමේ කළමනාකරුවන් සඳහා අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු නිෂ්පාදනය නැත්නම් ඒ තොරතුරු ලබා දෙන්න. ඒ තොරතුරු පද්ධතිය වලට පොදුවේ කියනවා management information system කියලා. ඒතර management information systems වලට උදාහරණ තමයි ඔය දක්වලා තියෙන්නේ පළවෙනි කොලම් එකේ. Marketing system, human resource management, accounting system ඒ ආදී විදිහට. ඒතර MIS කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක තියෙනවා description එක සහ ඒ හරහා ඒ systems වලින් ලැබෙන functions කරන්න ඕනේ දේවල් කීපයක් දක්වලා තියෙනවා අවසාන කොලම් එකේ. management information system හරහා තමයි daily attendance reports prepare කරන්නේ. Monthly or daily sales report, delivery reports, ඒ වගේ දේවල් prepare කරන්න information management information system භාවිතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. right, ඊළඟට අවසාන එක එනවා top level management එකට අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු නිෂ්පාදනය කරලා දෙන ඒවට පොදුවේ කියනවා decision support information system කියලා. decision support information system. ඒ කියන්නේ තීරණ ගැනීමේ ක්‍රියාවලිය සඳහා සහාය දක්වන තොරතුරු පද්ධති. ඒතර තීරණ ගැනීමේ ක්‍රියාවලියට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ top level එකේ ඉන්න managers ලා. ඒ නිසා තමයි decision support information system කියලා මේකට කියන්නේ මේ ආකාරයට. Here decision support information system provide information that required to make decision to the top level managers in the organization. Right. What are the example for decision support information system? First one, executive information system. Executive information system. Second one, decision support system. There are small differences between these systems. Both systems are provide information that required to make decision. Then first look at EIS, Executive Information System. And here it explains support to the top level managers when they take in decisions. This system has facilities to access internal and external information required for organizational activities. Here the special feature of the EIS is it is able to access information in the internal as well as external information. What are the external information? Mean if you are doing a business, internal information mean number of employees in your organization. Then what are the items your business? These are the internal information. Then what are the external? External mean the things outside your organization, but it impact your sales. And for example, taxes, different types of tax set by the government. It's an external factor, but it impact on your cost. Therefore, EIS is able to access the different types of tax systems and getting information that required for your decisions. That's one example. I'm explaining it. Right. Under function, comparing the sales of same brand in different areas or different age level. Comparing. It will be able to compare the different sales or brands, sales of brands or age level. Comparing and making decisions. Then identify the trends of fashions of customers. And then there are the customers having different of behaviors. Then EIS will be able to identify these behaviors that according to this identification we can change our products or sales. The taking the tax changes, that's the last one I earlier explained. Tax changes. And EIS, the system that able to access the external informations. Under that I explained about the tax changes. And that's about EIS. Then similar system is available that is called decision support system, DSS in short, DSS. Here the system is used by top level to analyze data and present the result in business users. Here under functioning, explain, presenting information in simple and understand, easy to implement in any device. Here the specific feature, actually here not mention it, it will not be able to access external operations, external data. Only DSS is handled within the organization, internally only. Right, that's the major difference between this EIS and DSS. Right, write down this one also. right. එතකොට මේකෙන් පැහැදිලි කරන්නේ decision support system කියන එක. ඒකේ decision support information system තියෙන්නේ top level management එකේ ඉන්න අයට තීරණ ගැනීමේ ක්‍රියාවලියට සහාය දක්වන්න. ඒතර ප්‍රධාන දෙකක් ඒගොල්ලෝ භාවිතා කරනවා EIS executive information system DSS decision support system කියලා. ඒතර EIS ඔය දෙකේ වෙනස තමයි EIS එක handle කරනවා internal data වගේම external data වලට access වෙන්න පුළුවන්. external දැන් internal data කිව්වම ඒ ආයතනයේ තුල ඉන්න සේවකයන් ගණන වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ආයතනයේ විකුණන items වල විස්තර වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා තමයි internal data. external කිව්වම ආයතනයේ ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වයට බලපාන external data. දැන් tax changes කියනවා. tax වගේ ඒවා නිසා තමන්ගේ ව්‍යාපාරය තුල cost එක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මේ tax changes මොනවද තියෙන වර්ග ඒවට access වෙන්න පුළුවන් EIS එකට. DSS එකට මේ external data වලට access වෙන්න බෑ. DSS වලින් පුළුවන් only handle the internal මේ ව්‍යාපාරයේ තුල තියෙන දත්ත handle කිරීම පමණයි කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර functions කිව්වම ඔය දෙකටම පොදුවේ comparing identification ඒ වගේම තියෙනවා. compare කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි compare කරලා එක brands අතර සිද්ධ වෙන sales compare කරලා කොයි brand එකෙන්ද වැඩියෙන්ම sales උනේ ඒවා identify කරන්න එක age level එකට අනුව compare කරන්න ඒ වගේ දේවල් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ decisions වලට decisions ගන්න තියෙන operation තමයි එකක් තමයි comparing. නේ behavior trends කියන එක identify the trend නේ ඉදිරියට මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියන එක. ඒ වගේ දේවල් හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. right ඔකත් ලියා ගන්න. right I think you complete write down this one. If you are not complete that earlier I mentioned, later you can complete it. Once I uploaded the presentation to your groups, then you can complete it. Right, that's regarding the data and information. We can summarize what we did up to now. We learned about what is data. Hello. Oh. අපි අද සාකච්ඡා කරපුවා what we discussed up to now data information system types of information system කියන ඒවා තමයි සාකච්ඡා කරේ. Right, then I'm showing you some past paper questions also. Then you will get some idea about how the questions are coming. Right? Actually, this one is very easy than that e-commerce or data communication part. Therefore, without getting the knowledge here, also you are able to give in some answers. Look at this 2016 Question number 1 here. Define the term data and information. Data and information. I think all of you can answer this question now. Right? Data and information. Define the term. Then list 4 qualities of good information. Qualities of good information. That also in general knowledge, we know what is the information. Then what are the features, good features of information. Whatever the information we are referring, it should be accurate. නිවැරදි information එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට feature එක වෙන්නේ quality එක වෙන්නේ accuracy. Right? Accuracy කියන එක. අපි refer කරන information එක timeliness. නිවැරදි වෙලාවට ඒක refer කරන්න ඕනේ. Right? Timeliness කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ relevant. That's another feature. Whatever the information we are referring should be relevant to our purpose. අදාළ වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? Then cost effective. We should want to get information by spending minimum cost. These are the some qualities we can identify through the information. Good qualities. Question number 3. What are 2 types of transaction processing activities in a transaction processing system? Briefly describe with each example. Two types of transaction processing activities in a transaction processing system. Normally, transaction processing system here, the main activities here we should have to identify it as sales and purchasing. Then you can describe it, what happened once you made the sales, the new types of information producing. You have to give some example for that. Then purchasing. Then what happened purchasing? The stock levels are increasing and decreasing. Here you want to explain in that way. Then next question is regarding list 3 characteristics of management information system. Right? Management information system. Characteristic of management information system used by middle level managers. Management information system normally used by middle level managers. Mostly management information system we are using to create reports. Report creating. Right? They support also management information system. They are supporting to making short-term decisions for the middle level managers. In that way, through the discussion, we can get the answer for these questions. List 3 characteristics of decision support system. It should be DSS, right? List 3 characteristics of decision support system. At last, we discussed that point also. Decision support system. I think all of you can write down the answers for this question. No need to give in full answers like earlier our discussions on the e-commerce and data communication. There are some questions we want to discuss in detail, but this one is not discussed in detail. Very simple ones here they are asking. Right. That's 2016. Then I think this question 2018. Look at the 2018 question. Define the system. Right. According to our discussion early morning today, we identify what is system. System is a collection of resources that work on to achieve specific goal. System here, remember, they are not asking the information system, only system. Then question number 2, state 3 examples for liveware in computer system. What is liveware? Can someone tell me the word liveware? By looking at the meaning of this live, then you can suggest what is liveware. You know software, hardware. What is liveware? Liveware are the live things. Live things with involved with the information system. Liveware කියන්නේ සජීවී දේවල්. සිස්ටම් එකත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙලා තියෙන සජීවී දේවල්. පණ තියෙන දේවල්. මොනවද ඒ කියන්නේ? people කියන එක තමයි consider කරන්නේ. Just state 3 examples. Information system එකේ තියෙන්න පුළුවන් සජීවී දේවල්. මිනිස්සු people වර්ග නේ. The data operator කෙනෙක් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. Data operator, computer programmer, system developer, ඒ වගේ right මේක system development කරද්දී තව in detail ඔයගොල්ලෝ identify කරයි තව මොනවද තියෙන liveware කියන එක. Then third one, list 4 components of information system. Components 4ක්. දැන් 3ක් අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තා. Information system එකේ තියෙන components hardware, software, liveware. ඒ කියන්නේ people කියලා ගත්තේ liveware කියන එක. ඊට අමතරව තව එකක් කියන්න පුළුවන්. Elements, information system එක elements ගැන කතා කරද්දී මම කිව්වේ extra element. වැඩිපුර තියෙන elements තුන තමයි hardware, software, people. ඊට අමතරව system එකේ තියෙනවත් තියෙනවා මේක. එහෙනම් තව එකක් අපිට system එකෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. එක්ක feedback, නැත්නම් subsystem, input, output. ඒතර ඒ හරහා අපිට elements 4ක්, components 4ක් explain කරන්න පුළුවන්. Briefly explain transaction processing system. අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තා විතරයි. What is transaction processing system? Transaction processing system is a system that process data generate due to daily transaction. Example, stock control system, payroll system. That is about transaction processing system. Then last part of this question, describe 2 information systems that help top level managers decision making. Describe 2 information systems that help the top level management in decision making. Then I think clearly we identify the systems available, information system available for top level managers. Executive information system, decision support system, expert system. These are the some example you can identify that support for decision making process of the top level managers. Expert system you will learn in detail later under knowledge management section, chapter 5. Until that, remember, expert system is another decision support system. Right. Expert system is not need for answering for this question. Only EIS and DSS is enough. Right. That's the level of question. Therefore, easily you can give in the answers for this question. Right. Okay. Then I will give break 15-minute break. 11:25. I will start it again. Then I need some feedback from you. At least give through the chat box. This is the things clear. I am giving you. It is fast or slow. It is clear. That type of information feedback I need for that. මේ අපි මේ කරගෙන යන ක්‍රමය හොඳයිද නැත්නම් fast වෙන්න ඕනේද slow වෙන්න ස්පීඩ් එක වැඩිද ඒ වගේ ඒවා පොඩ්ඩක් මට කියන්න. මේක අපි අර සම්පූර්ණ සිලබස් එකක් විදියට අර ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපි කරා වගේ නෙමෙයි කරන්නේ. එතනදී අපි පොඩි ප්‍රශ්න වෙන ක්‍රමවලට අරගෙන එම ටිකක් in detail පැහැදිලිව කරා. එතන කොම කරන්න ටයිම් එක නෑ. ඒ නිසා තමයි මේ විදියට යන්නේ. තොර පාස් පේපර්ස් වල ස්වභාවයත් මෙතනින් අපිට ගන්න ඕනේ මේ ප්‍රශ්න ඔයගොල්ලෝ අරගෙන නැවත උත්තර ලියන්න. මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට අපි සාකච්ඡා කරන්නේත් මේ විදිහට තමයි. ඒ වගේ මොන හරි අමාරු තැන් තියෙනවා නම් මට ආපහු කියන්න. හරි. ඒතර නැවත මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ අරන් සාකච්ඡා කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ ඔක්කොම ඩිරෙක්ට් ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන අපිට හිතලා ලියන්න මොකුත් නැහැ මේ වගේ. තියෙන්නේ ඩෙෆිනිෂන් ලියන්න. ලිස්ට් කරන්න. ඒ වගේ දේවල්. Right, okay. Actually, that is the first chapter of your syllabus. Then I will start after the break the second chapter, system development methodologies. Right, okay. We'll take 15-minute break, right? Then 11:25. Please join it again. Right, okay, we are back again to the lesson. Then we'll move to the next part here. The first chapter is regarding the data information systems, elements of information system, like that, right? The separate question also available from that part. And then we'll move to the second session here. That is about regarding the development, information system development. Then you know what is information system, then uses of information system, then examples, right? Then already you familiar with these things. Then you want to familiar with how designing. Then what are the factors you want to consider when designing the information system? Right? Then what are the steps you want to follow when designing the information system? Then what are the methods available to design the information system? Right? These are the things you want to follow in this chapter, second chapter. Right. Okay, this one is somewhat long chapter. The question number 2 also regarding this chapter. And then we'll move to that one. Right, here the first we are discussing about system development methodologies. System development methodologies. Here concentrate on the available method. Right, here all the necessary materials I am uploading to the Edmodo and the your WhatsApp accounts also. Therefore, you can get this presentation and other recordings and notes also through the Edmodo as well as the WhatsApp account also, right? That one student asked that question. Please upload to the Edmodo account. That's why I'm saying that. Right. System development methodologies. System development methodologies explain the different methods available to develop the system. Right? You want to develop the information system, then you want to decide which method you are going to use to develop the system. There are many methods. These methods are different according to the situation, according to the project you are going to do. You have different methods to select. It depends on your requirement. Right. The first thing you want to identify these methodologies. Then you want to go through in detail about the steps in these methodologies. Right. The first try to identify these methodologies here. These are the some methodologies we are using to develop the system. Waterfall method, then V-shaped model, prototyping, spiral method, then iterative and incremental method, and agile development. Right. Then we'll see one by one the features of these different types of methodologies. Right. The first one is waterfall method. Waterfall method. Here that each and every steps here having stages, or most of the cases these stages are similar steps having. Their features are different, but similar steps are having. Right? Then we should want to know how these steps are organized. Right? Under waterfall methods, you want to identify how these steps are organized. Then V-shape model. Then prototyping, how these models are organized. Some of the methods, they are using all the steps, but some of the methods, they are using less number of steps. Right? In that way, the steps are identified in detail in later, but the first you want to know these types of steps are available with each and every methodologies. Right? By looking at the waterfall methods, these are the common methods. Normally, every methodology is having these steps: requirement identification, designing, execution, testing, and release. Right? For now, only remember these names of these steps. Right? There are more things you want to identify inside this step. The requirement, for example, requirement mean you are going to identify the user requirements. What user need. According to these user requirements, you are going to develop the system. Then how you are going to collect the user requirements. Right? Then how you are organize these user requirements. These things are defined inside the requirement state. But this time we are not going to discuss in detail the things inside the requirement state or any other steps here. The next section, we are discussing in detail the things inside these steps. But for this requirement, for now, only remember these are the steps that needed to develop the information system. Under waterfall model, what is happening under waterfall model is these steps are arranged in this way, one after the other, one after the other. The arrow is pointing that all the steps you should want to prepare one after the other. That means no way to going upwards, only downwards, like a waterfall. Every time, always the waterfall is water flow is up to down. Right? Once you identify the requirements, then only you can design it. After the designing, the execution. After the execution, then only testing happening. If you are doing the testing, while you are doing the testing, suppose another requirement identified, then no way to going back. Right? Therefore, it is like a waterfall. This all the steps are arranged like a waterfall. Waterfall method එකේදී waterfall model කියලා කියන්නේ system එක develop කරන්න, information system එක develop කරන්න තියෙන එක methodology එකක්. Methodologies කීපයක් තියෙනවා. ඉස්සෙල්ලා මම දාලා පෙන්නේ methodologies ටික. ඒකේ පළවෙනි එක තමයි waterfall එක. මේ model එක සමහර අය පාවිච්චි කරනවා ඒ ගොල්ලන්ගේ ඒ ව්‍යාපෘතියේ ඒ project එකේ හැටියට ඒක වෙනස් වෙනවා. ඉතින් එක එක methodology වල තියෙනවා steps තියෙනවා. බොහෝ වෙලාවට මේ steps සමානයි. එකම steps තමයි තියෙන්නේ හැමතැනම යන්නේ. Then what may steps ටික තමයි මේ තියෙන requirement, designing, execution, testing, release. අතර සමහර methodology වල වෙන වෙන නම් වලින් ඔය කියන steps ම තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒතර waterfall method එකේදී මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඔය steps ටික එකක් යට එකක් පෙළ ගැස්වීම තමයි සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. ඒකේ requirement කියන්නේ requirement කියලා කියන්නේ අවශ්‍යතා කියන එකනේ. එතන මුලින්ම අපි සිස්ටම් එක හදන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් හඳුනා ගන්න ඕනේ. අවශ්‍යතාවයන් හඳුනා ගන්න විවිධ ක්‍රම තියෙනවා. අවශ්‍යතා හඳුනා ගත්තයින් පස්සේ ඒවා අපි logically පෙළ ගස්සන්නත් ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ දේවල් මොනවද requirement analysis stage එකේ ඇතුලේ තියෙන්නේ මොනවද කියන එක අපි ඊළඟ session එකේදී සාකච්ඡා කරනවා. විස්තරාත්මක අවශ්‍යයි. නමුත් දැනට මතක තියාගන්න requirement කියලා කියන්නේ එක step එකක්. පළවෙනි step එක. design කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ වගේ තව එකක්. design එක ඇතුලේ විවිධ දේවල් තියෙනවා. ඔය steps ටික එකක් යට එකක් පෙළ ගැස්වීම තමයි waterfall model එකේදී වෙන්නේ. මුලින්ම requirement identify කරගෙන පස්සේ තමයි design කරන්නේ. design එක ඉවරුනාම තමයි execute කරන්නේ. දැන් execute කරන්නේ මොකද්ද කියන එක දැනට තේරෙන්නේ නැතුව ඇති. නමුත් execute කියන්නේ තුන්වෙනි step එක. ඊට පස්සේ testing test කරන්න ඕනේ ඒක. සිස්ටම් එකක් හදලා අපි අදාළ පුද්ගලයන්ට බාර දෙන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඒක හරියට වැඩ කරනවද නැද්ද කියලා ටෙස්ට් කරන්න ඕනේ. ටෙස්ටිං. දැන් ටෙස්ටිං කරගෙන යන අතරතුර කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වොත් එහෙම තව රික්වයර්මන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා මගේ සිස්ටම් එකට දැන් දාන්න කියලා එහෙම දාන්න බෑ waterfall method එකේ. මොකද රික්වයර්මන්ට් ස්ටේජ් එක ඉවරයි. ආයෙ බෑක්වර්ඩ් යන්න බෑ. හරියට අර waterfall එකක් ගලන්නේ උඩ ඉඳන් පල්ලයට. ආයෙ පහළ ඉඳන් උඩට යන ක්‍රමයක් නැහැ නේද? ඒ නිසා හැම වෙලෙම එකක් ඉවර වෙලා අනික කරනවා කියන සංකල්පය තමයි waterfall method එකේදී තියෙන්නේ. Right? Here there are some features that what I am explaining. These features here linear sequential flow. Linear sequential flow කියන්නේ එකක් යට එකක් තැබීම. Linear. Right? There is no way to backward. Then second feature flowing steadily downward like a waterfall. Only it allows to flow downward from up to bottom. Stages can start only if previous stage complete. Right? That's also I explained. And if you are doing the testing stage, then later you identify another requirement, then it will not allow to add this requirement to your system because already finished that stage. No way to going backward. Does not allow go back and define requirements. Right. These are the some features available with waterfall method. Right. Then you want to write down, draw the diagram and write down the points on your books. Right. Complete it now. Right here, I think you finish writing the features and drawing the diagram for waterfall method. Right. Then look at some advantages and disadvantages of waterfall method. First, concentrate on advantages. Under advantages, it says first one, explain, easy to explain to the users. Right. From these models, when compared with system development methodologies, there are different methodologies available that earlier I showed it you to. The easiest one is the waterfall method. Easily we can explain the things happening inside the waterfall method to the users. Right? Before we start in the information system designing project, then we should want to explain to the users what is happening because of introducing this information system. Then what are the things we are doing when we are developing the system, right? Like that, we should want to explain it to the users. Normally, information system is developed by a separate set of team. This team is called system development team. Normally, this system development team is available sometimes within your organization. It is rarely available within your organization. Normally, in an organization, there is a separate department called separate departments, that marketing, production, research and development, human resources, like that, separate departments. Similarly, there is some organization having separate department called IT, information and technology department. Sometimes there is a system development team attached with this department, IT department. Right? Sometimes it's very rare actually. Mostly what is happening, system development teams is available at outside. There are outside firms. Their job is developing the information system. Normally, what's that business doing is giving orders to develop system for outside firms. System development team. There's a system development team. They should explain what is happening when developing the information system. Easy to explain to the others. Then structures approach. Structures, that clearly defined structures are available in the waterfall methods. The stages and activities are well defined, clearly defined. The activities are clearly defined. That's the advantage. Helps to plan and schedule the projects. Verification at each stage. Ensure early detection of errors, misunderstanding. Each and every step. At the end of each and every step, they should produce a verification report. Right before launching the second step, then they want to go through this verification report. If there is any errors or anything to misunderstanding, then they can correct it before launching the second step. Once starting the second step, then no way to correct it. Right. Then each phase has specific deliverable. Each and every steps in the waterfall method, at the end, they have a specific outcome. This outcome may be the input for the second step. Right. These are the advantage. There are some disadvantages also. Look at the disadvantages side. Assume that the requirement of system can be frozen. That means it will not, once you identify the requirement, it will not be changed. එකපාරක් identify කරපුවම requirement එක එහෙම්මම තමයි ඒක අර frozen වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. වෙනස් කරන්න බෑ කියන idea එක. Right? There is no way to change the requirement once you identify. ඒක disadvantage එකක්. මොකද requirement කියනවා වෙනස් වෙනවා. It is rapidly changing, especially for the human requirement. Right? These requirements are rapidly changing. Right? Therefore, this one is a disadvantage. Then second one, very difficult to go back to any stage after it finished. Once you finish some steps, then no way to go back. That's another disadvantage. A little flexibility and adjusting scope is difficult and expensive. Right? No flexibility or little flexibility. If you are supposed to do some changes, then it will more expensive. You want to spend more money to do some changes. Then costly and required more time in addition to detailed plan. Right? If you are selecting the waterfall method, means it will take more times, longer time to complete the project. That means, therefore, normally it will take 1 year, 6 months to 1 year to complete the project. That means time consuming and expensive task. Therefore, not normally it will not use for developing the small type of project. For the small type of information systems. Right, you can note down these advantages and disadvantages also. Right here, I think you finished. Write down the advantages and disadvantages. Then we'll move to the next methodology, V-shape model. Right. The V-shape model, what is happening in the V-shape model is the system development steps are arranging as a V-shape arrangement. You can see a V-shape arrangement to the system development steps. Right. Then look at the diagram. First, look at some features. Here, expansion of classic waterfall model. That's a expansion of the waterfall model. Some modification of the waterfall. Then based on associated test stages for the every development stages. That's what the difference is. That earlier case, the testing is another separate steps. I think you can remember the steps. Requirement, design, like that. There is a separate step for testing. But in this model, it after completing each and every step, it will do a test. Testing is appear with each and every step. That's the major difference between the when compared with waterfall and the V-shape. Right. Then a very strict model, and the next stage is started only after the previous. That is also appear in the waterfall. V-shape also similar. Strict model, right? Once you complete a model, then no way to backward. This is called validation and verification model. Another term for V-shape is validation and verification. Because the same time, once you complete a steps, the same time you are doing the validation and verification through the testing. The term meaning of these terms you will learn in detail when we are doing the testing part. Until that, remember, validation and verification are doing when they are doing the testing, right? Then write down these features. Right here, that's some features of V-shape model. Then look at the diagram, how each steps are organized. This is the way how steps are organized. Also, they are given separate names for this organization. Then business and operation concept. Then system requirement. The requirement under waterfall method, the first step is the requirement. But in here, the first step is something else, business and operation concept. Then secondly, system requirement. Then architecture design part. Then modular design. The design also divided into several parts, architecture and modular. Then development. Right? Then you can see the right side in green color. There is another set of steps. That's also related with the major steps. If you are considering the business and operation concept, the same time user acceptance testing, test validation, system requirement, system testing. Right? In that way, one of the testing you are done when doing the same time when developing the step. Right. Here, draw this diagram here. You will learn this type of testing in detail later when we are discussing in detail of these steps. Right. Then you will learn the different type of testing. Until that, remember, in V-shape model, each and every at the end of the each and every step, you have to do a testing. Right. Draw this diagram here. Right here, I think you finished drawing the model here. This is the second model methodology, V-shape model. Right? Here, look at some advantages and disadvantages also. Under advantages, it says first one, every stage of V-shape model has strict result, so it is easy to control. Right? Under V-shape model, each and every steps giving a strict result. It will not normally change. The result is not normally change. That is strict. This is because of this. You can easily control. Controlling is easy. Then a second advantage, testing and verification take place in the early stages. Here, under V-shape model, one of the additional extra feature is when compared with the waterfall model, at the end of each steps, they are doing a separate testing. Because of this testing, if they have errors, something to change, early stages of the project, they can identify it. They can identify what are the things to change, what are the errors. They can earlier, they can identify it. Therefore, It is an advantage for this model. Then says good for small projects where requirements are static and clear. That's waterfall model also good for small projects. It's not good for big project because it is a very time consuming and expensive. V-shape also same because that's the expansion of waterfall model. These features are also available. If you are doing big projects, in that case, V-shape model also not relevant, not suitable. Also, this one is suitable for small projects where requirements are static and clear. The requirements are not normally changed. That this is called static, not normally changed, and clear. Right. Then disadvantage, under disadvantage, lack of the flexibility, little flexibility, no way to change once you are completing the each step. Then bad choice for small project. That's earlier explaining. This type of things are very good for small projects. Then relatively big risk. Risk factor is also increasing because once you complete the steps, then there is no way to modify. Therefore, it result to improve the risk of the system. Then you can point out these advantages and disadvantages also. Right. Here, that is regarding the V-shape model. Then move to the next part, spiral model. Under spiral model, first explain the steps. Here, we are having only 4 steps. Right. The same thing actually when analyze the inside of these steps, the same thing you can identify the requirement identification or designing. Right. Then together we call planning. Right. Which for the first thing under spiral method, the first thing is you want to plan. Under planning, what you want to under planning is estimate the cost, then schedule the resources. Right. These are the some functions you want to do under planning. Here the separate steps. These steps is not normally you can find under waterfall or V-shaped model called risk analysis. Right? Therefore, this type of methodology is much suitable for the project that having more risk. There are some situation we should want to develop information system, they having more risk. In this case, the spiral model is best for that, right? Here it explaining identification of potential risk done while risk mitigation strategy is planned and finalized. Then engineering. This is actually designing stage. When compared with the V-shaped or waterfall method, they are having a separate steps called designing. The somewhat equal. Engineering is equal to this design. The testing, coding, deployment software, all of these are happening under engineering. Then evaluation. Then you finally want to evaluate the system with your customers. These are the 4 main steps having in spiral model. Only 4 steps there, but V-shaped or waterfall method having 5 or 6 methods, 6 steps. Right. Then first write down these steps. Under spiral method, first note down the steps here. Planning, risk analysis, engineering, and evaluation. Right here, then you want to know how to arrange these steps diagrammatically. That earlier the waterfall, one after the other. V shape, it's like a shape, V shape. Right? Then think about how these steps are arranged under spiral model. Its name given the arrangement, spiral. It's all the steps are preparing, arranging like a spiral. Right? Actually, through this spiral, it is happening something like repetition. Right? Repeatedly, you have to do the same step again and again. It allows to, that means changing the requirements. It's not the feature of waterfall or V-shape. Because of this repetition, it allows to change in the requirements. Here, the under planning, in this under spiral method, planning step is the in the planning step they identify the requirement. Then risk analysis, engineering, and evaluation. Then if you have new requirements, then you want to add this new requirement in the second repetition, second step. Again, planning, risk, and engineering evaluation. If not satisfied, again planning, risk, engineering, and evaluation. Right here, first doing the planning, then risk analysis, then engineering and evaluation. Evaluation done with the customers. Customers not satisfied with the evaluation, that means you want to repeat these steps again. Customers may not satisfy because their requirements is not enough. New requirements are having with the customers, then you want to include it. Therefore, for this reason, the customers may not satisfy with the system. Then again, system developers should have to identify the new requirements. Again, they want to plan in it with the new requirement, risk analysis, engineering, and evaluation. Again, they want to evaluate with the customer. Still not the customer satisfied with the system. again they want to plan it. In that way, they want to do this repetition until satisfy the customers. Right. Then how you can organize this spiral model explained in this diagram here. Right. Then here the innermost step, the first one is planning. Planning is the center of this diagram. I think you can see my mouse pointer around in this area. This is the planning. Then look at my mouse pointer around in planning, then risk analysis. Again, engineering, then evaluation. The first 4 steps. If not customer satisfied, again you want to go in those through this spiral to start the planning. Right? Again, planning here. Planning, then risk analysis, engineering, and evaluation. Like that, you want to do all the steps until customer is satisfied. Draw this diagram, and when you are drawing it, not write down the each step also. In this diagram, not mention the steps. If you are drawing this one as a spiral, then mention the steps, each steps also. The first one, planning, then risk analysis, third one, engineering, fourth one, evaluation, again the next one, planning, again planning. Right. Draw this diagram, that I will give time to draw this one. Right, I think you finish drawing this diagram. Make a spiral method එක පැහැදිලි කරන්නේ. Spiral method එකේ steps 4යි තියෙන්නේ. දැන් waterfall method එකේදී 5ක් 6ක් තිබ්බා. V shape එකෙත් එහෙමයි 5ක් හෝ 6ක් තිබ්බා. මේකේ 4යි තියෙන්නේ. steps 4 තමයි planning, risk analysis, engineering, evaluation. Planning stage එකේදී තමයි requirement identify කරන්නේ. අවශ්‍යතාවයන් හඳුනා ගැනීම සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ planning stage එකේ. Risk analysis මේක අවදානම විශ්ලේෂණය කිරීමක් සිද්ධ වෙනවා එක එක steps වල. වැඩි අවදානමක් සහිත projects කරද්දී information system හදනකොට මේ ක්‍රමය වැදගත්. engineering කියන එකේදී තමයි system එකට අදාළ testing කරන්නේ, coding ලියන්නේ, system එක අදාළ තැන්වල ගිහිල්ලා high කරන ඒවා deployment කරනවා කියනවා. ඒවා කරන්නේ engineering කියන එකේ. ඊට පස්සේ මේකේ තියෙන අනිත් වෙනස් step එක තමයි evaluation. ඒ කියන්නේ customers ලත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා හදපු system එක ඇගැයීමක් කරනවා, evaluate කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ customers ලාගේ requirement එක මේකෙන් තියෙනවද නැද්ද කියලා බලනවා. ඒ විදිහට steps 4ක් තියෙනවා. මුලින්ම plan කරනවා, risk analysis, engineering, ඊට පස්සේ customers ලත් එක්ක evaluate කරනවා. so customers ලා satisfy වුණේ නැත්තම් ඒගොල්ලෝ satisfy වෙන්නේ නැහැ සමහර වෙලාවට. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතා නැහැ කියනවා. ඒ වගේ හේතු කියනවා. එතන එහෙනම් අලුතෙන් ඒ අවශ්‍යතා හඳුනාගෙන ආයෙ plan කරන්න. ආයෙ risk analysis, ආපහු re-engineering, ආයෙ evaluation. තවදුරටත් satisfy වෙන්නේ නැත්තම් ආපහු ඒ රවුම යන්න ඕනේ. ඒක තමයි මෙතන ඇඳලා තියෙන්නේ. මුලින්ම plan කරනවා. right? එතකොට ඒකේ plan කරායින් පස්සේ අවදානම විශ්ලේෂණය, risk analysis, ඊට පස්සේ engineering and evaluation. satisfy වුණේ නැත්නම් ආයෙ planning. ආපහු අර steps 4 යනවා. right? එතකොට spiral method කියන්නේ ওই වගේ එකක්. එතකොට ඒකේ ඔය ආකාරයට අපිට model එක මොකක්ද කියලා identify කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊළඟට තව model එකක් අපි බලමු, prototyping model. prototyping another type of methodology using to develop the information system, that is called prototyping. What they are doing is, under this model, first develop a model, not the actual system. Right? First develop a model that representing the some features of actual model, that including the some features of actual model, but not the exactly actual one, only a prototype. Right? Then once develop the prototype, then it hand over to the customers. The customers are inspecting with the prototype. Then if it is not satisfied, then again develop the prototype. Again giving to the customers, then inspect the customers. If they are not satisfied, again develop the prototype. But in the spiral model, they are develop the actual system. spiral model එකේදී develop කරේ customers ලත් එක්ක බැලුවේ actual system එක. බලලා ඒක satisfy වුණේ නැත්නම් actual එක තමයි නැවත වටේට ගියේ. නමුත් prototyping එකේදී actual system එක නෙමෙයි, prototype එක. prototype කියන්නේ දැන් model එකක් කියන එක ආකෘතියක්. සත්‍ය පද්ධතිය ආකෘතියක් තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලා හදලා දෙන්නේ. ඇත්තම පද්ධතිය හදන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකේ ආකෘතියක් හදලා users ලට දෙනවා භාවිතා කරන්න. ඒක users ලා බලනවා ඒ prototype එක. බලලා ඒගොල්ලෝ satisfy වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ආපහු prototype එක develop කරනවා. ඒත් satisfy නැත්නම් නැවතත් prototype එක develop කරනවා. කොයි වෙලාවෙ හරි customers ලා satisfy වුණාම තමයි අර prototype එකෙන් actual model එක හදන්න පටන් ගන්නේ. Prototype methodology is defined as a software development model in which a prototype is built, test, and then rework when needed until an acceptable prototype is achieved. Then this inspection of this prototype should be continued until customers are satisfied. Then after that, they can start building the actual project. Right. Then you can write down this one, this paragraph. First write down. Right, I think you finished writing this one, prototyping model. Then we'll see the diagram here. This diagram, through this diagram, you can understand clearly what is prototyping. Here, the first initial requirement. Here, giving the steps. Right. That earlier cases also we identify the steps. In this method, the first initial requirement. Once you identify the initial requirement, straight away you can develop the prototype. Design and development. You can start the design and development. Right. Then look at the arrow here. After design and development, this arrow going downwards, user validation. Right. Under design and development, they are generate a prototype. That prototype gives some features that have it with the final product. Not all. Some features are there. Right. That first develop a prototype under design and development. Then that particular prototype given to the user for validation, user validation. Then user inspect the product. User, if they are accept, right, then look at the arrow. User accept. Then what happened? User accept. Yes, deliver the system. No, feedback with new requirement. User accept, no, meaning they don't accept with the prototype. Then they are giving the reason for why they don't accept. That is called feedback with new requirement. This feedback with new requirement, again, see this arrow going again to design and development. Then they will get another new prototype. New prototype with new requirements. Again, it handed over to customers. Again, they are validate. If it is accept, deliver the system. If not, feedback with new requirement again. This repetition happening until customers are satisfied. Right. Then draw this diagram, this chart. Here clearly explain about a prototype. Right. The prototype එකේදී වෙන්නේ මුලින්ම prototype එකක් ආකෘතියක් හදලා ඒක දෙනවා කස්ටමර්ට, යූසර්ස්ලට දෙනවා භාවිතා කරන අයට. ඒ ආකෘතියෙන් අර ෆයිනල් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකේ ඔක්කොම ෆීචර්ස් පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැ. සමහර ෆීචර්ස් පෙන්වනවා. ඒතර ආකෘතිය තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලම පරීක්ෂාවට ලක් කරන්නේ. ආකෘතිය හදලා ඒ යූසර්ස්ලට දෙනවා. ඒතර ඒගොල්ලෝ ආකෘතිය පරීක්ෂා කරනවා. බලනවා ඒ රික්වයර්මන්ට්ස් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතා ඔක්කොම ආකෘතියෙන් තියෙනවද කියලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් නැවත අර ආකෘතිය ඩෙවලොප් කරන්න ඕනේ. ප්‍රොටෝටයිප් එක ආයේ ඩෙවලොප් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒ විදිහට කස්ටමර් නැත්නම් යූසර්ස්ලා සැටිස්ෆයිඩ් වෙනකම්ම මේක ආකෘතිය ඩෙවලොප් කිරීම යනවා. ඊට පස්සේ කොයි වෙලාවෙ හරි යූසර්ස්ලා සැටිස්ෆයි වුණාම තමයි actual system එක හදලා deliver කරන්න පටන් ගන්න. ඒ විදිහට අපිට පුළුවන් prototype කියන එක identify කරන්න පුළුවන්. Then What's the difference between spiral method and the prototyping? What's the major difference? Under spiral method also repetition. Right? Under spiral method, first planning, risk analysis, engineering, evaluation. Then again, they want to do the same steps. Then what's the difference? The main difference here, the product, final product. Under spiral method, they are evaluate with the final product. But in the prototyping model, they are evaluate with the prototype. Prototype එකේදී prototype එකක් තමයි evaluate කරන්නේ. නමුත් spiral method එකේදී ඇත්තටම ලැබෙන system එකත් එක්ක තමයි evaluation එක යන්නේ. එතකොට මේ වෙනස තියාගන්න ඕනේ, හඳුනා ගන්න ඕනේ ක්‍රමය. හොඳයි. එතකොට මම අදට නතර කරනවා මේක. කට්ටියත් අඩු වීගෙන යනවා මුලින් 70ක් 80ක් හිටියා දැන් ඉන්නේ 50යි. එතකොට මේක ගොඩක් තියරි තියෙන්නේ අරටත් වඩා ඩෙෆිනිෂන්ස් ඕවා තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මේවා ටිකක් පාඩම් කරලා මතකයෙන් දැන් අපි මේ කරගෙන යනකොට ලියන්න තියෙන්නේ. අර මම උදේ කිව්වා වගේ මේ අපිට වැරදිලා තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලා සිලබස් එක කරේ. ඒක fourth semester එකට අදාළ එක. fourth year first semester එකට අදාළ එක තමයි කරලා තියෙන්නේ. 3 notes කරපුවා ඔක්කොම තියාගන්න. ඒවා අහක යන්නේ. ඒ කාලේ එනකොට ඊළඟ semester එකේදී ඔක ඕන වෙනවා. නමුත් දැන් මේ semester එකේ විභාගයේ එළිවීම සඳහා අපිට මේ syllabus එකේ කරුණු අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා තමයි නැවත අදාළ syllabus එක කියන්නේ paper එක ලියන්න අදාළ syllabus එකට අදාළ කරුණු තමයි අද සාකච්ඡා කරේ. මේ විදිහට තව දවස් දෙකක් විතර මම සාකච්ඡා ගෙනියනවා. ඒ ඔස්සේ ගොඩක් ආවරණය කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ අපි විභාගයේ ලං වෙලත් වෙනම මම ගන්නම් ඔයගලන්ට වෙලාව තියෙන වෙලාවක අරන් ප්‍රශ්න කීපයක් අපි සාකච්ඡා කරමු විභාගයට ආසන්න කාලය වලදී. ඒ අනුව කිසිම ගැටලුවක් මතුවෙන්නේ නැහැ විභාගෙට ලියා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍ර බැලීම සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ මගේ අතින්. එතකොට මට ඒක කන්සිඩර් කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේ වගේ දේවල් දැන් ගිය පාර ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රයේ 2019 එකේ කෙලින්ම V shape model එක විස්තර කරන්න තිබ්බා. ප්‍රශ්නයක් එහෙම පිටින්. හරිද? මේ model එක ඇඳලා තිබ්බත් මම ඒ අවුරුද්දයට ඒ ලකුණ සම්පූර්ණ ලකුණ දුන්නා. ඒ අනුව එහෙම විභාග ලකුණු සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගැටලුවක් මතුවෙන්නේ නැහැ. assignment එකත් නැවත assignment එකක් කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. අර assignment එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරලා එපු assignment එක මම accept කරනවා මේ term එකේ assignment එක විදියට. හරි. එතකොට ඊළඟ term එකේ fourth year first term කරද්දි assignment එක විතරක් අපි වෙනස් කරලා ගන්නවා. දැන් දුන්න assignment එක දැන්ට මම ඒක ඒ ලකුණු ටිකම අදාළ කරගන්නවා. ඒ නිසා කවුරු හරි තාම ඉන්නවා නම් assignment submit නොකරපු එයාට තව කාලය තියෙනවා submit කරන්න. අනිත් අයටත් කියන්න ඒ සිලබස් එක නැත්තම් සමහරු නතර කරා කියලා හිතලා අරකට ලෑස්ති වෙයි. ඒ නිසා හැමෝටම මේ පණිවිඩය යවන්න මේ සිලබස් එකේ වෙනස. මගේ ෆෝල්ට් එකක් නෙමෙයි කියලාත් මතක තියාගන්න. මට ලැබිච්ච සිලබස් එක තමයි මම කරේ. Right, okay. එහෙනම් අදට අපි නතර කරනවා. We are going to stop for today. Thank you very much for the participation. We'll meet again next Saturday, same time. Right? Next week also we have in the lecture. Okay. Thank you very much for the participation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Okay, welcome.